Okay, good. Excellent. Where recording is in progress. And you see, boys and girls, it's howdy doody time. Just kidding. Just kidding. You see 7 volumes right before your eyes. These are old and faded 7 volumes of the history of the church. And most of the volumes, it's actually divided into 2 periods, rather, of church history. And period 1 is from the inception, from the beginning, all the way through the Kirtland period and the Nauvoo period, ending actually in the Nauvoo period, at the end of the Nauvoo period. And period 2 is, of course, after they trekked along their way and were refugees from the state of Illinois. Poor little babies. They brought it upon themselves. I know they brought it upon themselves. But they were literally booted out of Illinois. And away they went to the this is the place, the this is the right place. And so that's the, they call it the apostolic interregnum. That sounds a little Latin to me, interregnum. And that's what it says on volume 7. You can't read it, but it says period 2 in volume 7, and it says apostolic interregnum. So, whatever that means. That's the Brigham Young period in my book. Everything before that is the Joseph Smith period. Because it says so. It says, period 1, Joseph Smith. It says that in all 6, the first 6 volumes. The 7th volume, maybe we can change that a little bit so you can see it. I think so. I want to just do this. There you go. Volume 7 says apostolic interregnum. That's a hyphenated word too. INTERREGNUM. Interregnum. I don't know. It sounds like somebody has to me it sounds like somebody needs to take a bowel movement. Interregnum. Oh no, that's rectum. Sorry. Interrectum needs to take a dump. And literally, these people need to take a dump anyway. They just need to take a dump. Oops, sorry. I was fumbling with some things in my drawer here. Okay. So, what I'm trying to do here is to be aware, if I can be aware, of the passage of time. Why? Because I only have 10 minutes to work with in this video. Now, I could play some romantic type of music as a background, and with rich bass sounds, and overlay this production with some nice music. And I'd like to do that, but I don't know how. Maybe someone can help me sometime. I have some thoughts on this collection called The History of the Church. We're not talking about the Catholic Church. That's not the church. We're not talking about any of the Protestant churches. That's not what it means by the church. It's history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And with that name Joseph Smith on everything, well, that just tells you what it is. Well, it could be. I mean, it could be a history of the church created by the reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is now called the Community of Christ, COC, cockamamie, Cockamamie, C-O-C, C-O-C, short for cockamamie. I don't know. Who knows? It could have been that, but it's not. Because if I were to take one of these volumes out of the case, it's in a little bitty cardboard box. Listen, these are paperback, and this is a paperback edition. That's why it's a little ragtag looking. It's old. It's a collectible now. Somebody want to give me $100, $150? Anybody want $100, $150, $175, $200 sold? Because I'll auction this off. It's in good shape. It's paperback. But I read through it all. I was an avid reader. I'll tell you that right up front. I was an avid reader early on. So I read it all. By the way, this is not a plug for Sean McCraney, but Sean McCraney was right when he talked about the word of wisdom and Joseph Smith having smoked a cigar on one occasion, drank some old wine. They called it old wine. That ain't grape juice. And that's alcohol. He drank some old wine with a woman who later became his wife. What? Emma Smith? No, of course it wasn't Emma. It was one of his polygamous wives. Drank some wine with her, had a good time, looked up her dress and said, "Woo, I like this one. I think I'd get married to this one too." Let's face it. The more power you have, power in the priesthood, the more power a person has, the more they become like Bill Clinton. You know what I mean? What? You don't know what I mean? He had one bimbo after another come in and out of his governor's mansion when he was governor of Arkansas. And he capped that tendency right off when he had the Monica Lewinsky scandal that impeached him in the House of Representatives, but not completely because the Senate failed to impeach him. So therefore he was impeached but stayed in office. That gives him a dubious distinction. Impeached but not removed. But what I'm talking about is the power in the priesthood and power in other things. And Joe Smith just couldn't contain all that power. He had to have 33 women. And he had them all right. I can remember a time 40 years ago, more than 40 years ago, of course. And I can remember a time when the big gossip, whisper within the church was, did Eliza R. Snow have normal relationship with Joseph Smith? And everybody said, no, it was only, she was just a spiritual wife. And yet the commandment was to take wives and to have children by them. There is a process, that you go through to have children. Duh. And Eliza R. Snow was, Eliza R. Snow Smith and whoever else she married. Did she marry Brigham Young after that? I don't know. Heber C. Kimball, somebody. After Joseph Smith died, she married somebody else for time only. And she was asked, did you have what considered normal marital relationship with Joseph Smith? And she said, what do you think? Of course, basically, and had this little cat grin on her face, like, well, she was multiple wife number so-and-so. I don't remember which one in the whole series of wives. And they thought it was a privilege to be married to him and to get regular treatments. Regular treatments. Regular romp in the hay. The only one that objected, it seems, and was sad over it, was this Helen Mar Kimball, a 14-year-old girl. And this was after Joe Smith approached Helen Mar Kimball's mother while Heber Kimball was out serving a mission to England or someplace. And the first one Joe Smith approached was Helen Mar Kimball's mother. And Heber said, you're not taking my wife. And so he said, okay, just testing you there, brother. And so he asked the daughter and said, your whole family's eternal welfare hangs on whether you accept this or not. If you accept it, your whole family will be guaranteed exaltation in the celestial kingdom. How about that for a guarantee? God, that Joe Smith was really a freaking wiener.